That means, unfortunately, the situation for most people, that's the case. The red blood cells are clumped. People call these money rolls. So we take a person, as you see here, we take a person and on the left side, you see the image before. The person has clumped red blood cells.
Yeah.
Then we give the person to drink 9 ounces of water, of our water. Then we wait for 15 minutes. And then we make a second shot. This is called dark field microscopy. And then we create a second image. And the second image shows you how wonderful these red blood cells, which were clumped 15 minutes before, are now free floating. Means they take a lot of oxygen in and send oxygen to the cells. Means a healthy situation. We worked a lot until we had the solution, but we have it now. And this is what it looks like. Good. Now, I was contacted by a person who had a severe illness condition. The person was vaccinated. And again, I don't make that claim. That person sent me the photos before and after. And I said to him, what did you use? He said, well, we have this electromagnetic radiation protection, SD9-50, and SD1, which you are wearing, John, and your water unit. And he said, look, this is what the doctors showed to me, and they can't believe, I think it was a frame of 14 days. They said, we can't believe, how did you do that?
Yeah.
The interesting part is that I offered these doctors a conversation, a meeting, an explanation.
Let me guess, they didn't want to have it.
No. No.
Don't mean to be Mr. Spoiler here, but you know what? I was just in communication with a close friend in the last couple of days, and he said, John, I have 4 doctors, 4 of them, and none of them wanted to discuss the effects of this injection. The doctors don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them do. The ones that come on Caravan over the radio program, sure they do. But people out there that aren't in the Caravan, so to speak, they don't get to talk to people like you and so forth. These doctors don't want to hear about it.
No, the longer I live, the more I work out there, the less surprised I am. The people who reach out, the doctors who reach out to improve, as I said to you, the 2%, which are fantastic, they are fantastic for good reasons, because they're looking for answers. Now, the red blood cells, when they're beautiful separated, like I just showed them to you, what does it do for the body? It has a high oxygen uptake. It has an improved oxygen transport to the cells. It reduces the acidity. It increases purification and more energy. And all this only, in quote, by drinking healthy water. You don't do anything else. You improve the red blood cells situation through healthy water. From wherever the healthy water comes, doesn't matter. It does that job. So you see those different steps I'm taking you to what healthy water does and what it can do, which is then the next point, water and redox potential, which people usually have never heard of. I want to get not too much in theory here, but the body needs electrical charge. Without electrical charge, we cannot live. And the frequencies in our body. Now, you've seen always these videos, these movies, where people are in a hospital, right?
Yeah.
They're in a hospital, and they have the AKG running, and suddenly it drops to 0. The person is dead, right? Watch here, this video, how it typically looks like.
Interpret this for us, Norbert.
Yes. So the AKG measures the heart rate, and the heart is stimulated by electricity, right? So when the person suddenly 0 line means dead, there is not enough electrical charge. You've seen always when people are, when they try to bring them back to life and have these extreme electrical shocks on the body, right? They try to stimulate the electrical waves in the body. We cannot live without electricity. We cannot. We need electricity in our body. People are not aware of that. And if you have a lack of electricity, like in this case, the person just dies. And things happened before, of course. Why doesn't he not have electricity? The good water has a natural electrical current, which people don't know. And this electricity is needed for the human body. They don't know good water has a natural electrical current. This is measured, is what's called redox potential in millivolts. The lower the number of redox potential in food or water, the stronger it is. And its power to bind harmful free radicals. So the body is strengthened and more protected. Good, truly spring water, pristine water, has a redox potential of about plus 150 millivolts and much oxygen. A typical mountain water shows plus 300 millivolts. A typical municipal water is about 500 millivolts, not good at all, which means as well a lack of oxygen in water. My energy water contributes, reduces another 40 millivolt from the redox potential. So in other words, we stimulate, we give an additional benefit. It's a very nice substantial improvement as a side effect for my technology. It's a side effect. We just give more redox potential. So the conclusion is for redox potential, the lower the redox potential, the higher the antioxidant capacity. And the more the body benefits from the water or food, the more the body is strengthened and protected. So people are typically not aware about the electrical charge in water. Low is high quality, high is poor quality. Very simple, but usually not really discussed because, you know, people don't want to go there. I'm not saying it's the most important one, but it's a part of these many different facets of healthy water. I've said at the beginning of the show, I want to cover all the aspects of water so that you have a conceptual understanding what healthy water is, right? Here's another one, water and descaling. Now, when it rains, water goes into the ground and meets areas of lime. And water binds the lime. That's all it does. Depending on where you live, where the water you're using comes from, the water has more or less lime. So in the areas where you have a lot of lime, the lime level in your tap water is very high. And then the areas in the country where the lime level is very low, consequently, low level of lime. It's not a major health issue. Maybe it shouldn't be in the water, but that's the way it is. Lime is not good for your water pipe. It's more harmful to your water pipe than to your body.
Right.
It clogs up the pipes, and lime kills eventually your household appliances. So what I do in my technology, I soft descale the lime. At the beginning, when you use my products, you see a bit more lime in the water, and then it fades, and every new lime which is coming in is immediately descaled and doesn't attach to the pipes or your home appliances.
It doesn't stick in your body either, I take it.
No, it just flushes out. It just flushes out. Lime is not unhealthy as such. It's a product of nature. You drink it with the water and you pee it out. It's gone.
Yeah.
It has no health impact. And once we freed the pipes from appliances from lime, all the new lime coming in will not attach to the water pipe or to the appliances. Now, there are some products offered out there to design to descale the lime. The problem is, from my perspective, that is done electricity-wise, electrically-wise, or with magnets. Now, I have some reservation there. I say reservation. these technologies most likely change the natural structure of lime. And in consequences, the properties are not natural anymore. So the natural lime comes into your body, the body doesn't need it, recognizes we don't need it, flushes it out. Now, if you change the natural structure of that lime, it's not natural anymore. The possible consequences are not highly researched or published. They may have negative effect. I'm not saying it will have. We went ahead and we ignored all that. No magnets, no electricity. In my technology, it's just implemented that we make sure it is not sticking where it's not supposed to stick. It's a side effect we do. Welcome side effect.
Understood. This has been an extraordinarily fascinating conversation. It really has.
Well, we're coming now to the highlight. I've prepared you now with all this information I think I've given you, that you have a conceptual understanding, and now we're coming to the drum roll highlight of the show, and I had to talk about all these other things to prepare you for what's coming now. It's called water and reverse osmosis. Water and reverse osmosis. Now, most likely, reverse osmosis water filtering systems are the most used one, maybe around the globe, definitely in America.
True.
There are many water filtering systems, but many of them are based, let me say this, there are many companies who offer water filters, and mostly they are based on reverse osmosis or something in between. Now, to my personal opinion, again, it's my humble personal opinion, for me, reverse osmosis is the devil, and I'll explain to you in a minute why. And it seems to me in this water business, people who used to sell secondhand cars or insurances all of a sudden jumped on this new hype and sell water filtering systems. I met with several of these new salesmen. And after a few sentences and I asked 2-3 questions, I knew these guys had no idea what they were talking about. They were giving some bullet points, a crash training most likely, go off and sell. People are more receptive than ever before in history about water, the critical part of water. Okay. Now, a reverse osmosis system works with membranes to which water is pressed. And on the packagings, like bottled water, it usually says filtered water or purified water on the bottle somewhere. Yeah. And these are all reverse osmosis water. So Dasani, for example, one of the most likely most sold water bottles in America from Coca-Cola is a reverse osmosis water system. Nowadays, it's not on the website anymore. A few years ago, they admitted on the website, it's municipal water. They take municipal water, put it through a reverse osmosis system, and sell it to you. I just checked yesterday. I couldn't find it anymore. It seems to me, I don't know whether somebody listened to my too good to be true that somebody listened to my presentation and they took it off their website. If you would drink pure reverse osmosis water, you would most likely puke. Most likely puke. We're getting to this in a moment. And they add what we call a taste filter, or throw in some minerals which make some fresh taste to cover up the bad side. So the first thing we have to learn is that reverse osmosis systems were originally never designed for human use. Never, ever. But only for industrial and military use, where no minerals were wanted. So do you really believe that the water for machinery is good for your human body? I guess. They said, let's make money as we have this development technology and sell it to the sheep out there. This crap technology, which looks a bit like that. In variations, these are typical reverse osmosis water filter systems. And again, there are many of them around the planet.
Sure.
So first point is, it was never intended to use for people. Now, I would say nothing about it if it would be a great quality. It was never intended for a human being, but accidentally they may have found out it's good, right? No rejection, but that's the point. Now, we talked about that water is crucial, the supply of water, and we're ending up in a water crisis, not enough water. Now, a reverse osmosis system is a complete water waste. For each gallon of reverse osmosis water you end up with, depending on the machine, you dump 3 to 6 gallons. You get 1 gallon out of it, and you waste 3 to 6 gallons depending on the machine. That's an absolute crazy situation for me in a world which has problems with water.
Right.
The next point is acidity. I have explained to you acidity. We talked about pH. Reverse osmosis water is always too acidic. We said acidity is unhealthy. We talked about this. Reverse osmosis water has typically a pH of 5.5 to 6.5. Means 10 to 100 times too acidic. And you drink this day out, day in, 100 times too acidic. The toughest cases I found was 4.5, 1,000 times too acidic.
Wow. So
usually I'm a life coach. I'm not a doctor. I'm a life coach. I'm a life consultant. And I get called very often when people need energy work and need to change something in their life. And I was called twice. That may be coincident or not. I don't know. I was called twice to people I'm associated with who had all stage 4 cancer. And when, like in one case, the wife called me, and I said to this guy for years, leave your cell phone. Don't use your headset, your Bluetooth. Don't do it. He was running around his office day and out, day and night. Sure enough, he developed eye cancer. Another friend of mine, same cell phone thing. He has this wireless thing on his ear, years, brain cancer. And when this one wife called me, his wife called me, and I've offered him support by improving his intakes, like water and like radiation protection. I knew it was late. He already did all the doctors in the world he knew of. And then said, what the hell, let's talk to Norbert, right? You got nothing to lose. Because I'm not a doctor. I don't have the image of being knowledgeable, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing I do when I come to people, regardless whether they're sick or not sick, the first thing I do, I test their exposure to electromagnetic radiation. The second thing I do, I test their water and the pH of their water. And this particular person here had the lowest pH I ever measured with 4.5, 1,000 times too acidic. And I said to him, if I would be you, it would be my wife, I say, immediately stop drinking the water and get protection from electromagnetic radiation. He did neither one, and 2 months later he was dead. Now, do I say it was because of the pH of the water, reverse osmosis, and because of the electromagnetic radiation? No, I don't say that that was the reason. I say it could have been contributed, or maybe it was the reason. I don't know. You see, the point is not only you drink reverse osmosis water, you do your coffee with it, and you take showers, typically, right?
Yeah.
And I made a self-test that after a shower, I typically weigh up to 1 pound more than before the shower. Because the skin, the biggest organ of your body, absorbs the water. So if you have unhealthy water to drink is one thing, and if you still shower with unhealthy water, that's another thing. So bottom line is, too acidic. All reverse osmosis waters are acidic. And I did a show in Germany. And after that show where I talked about this a few years ago, this woman called me and said, hey, listen, I heard your show. I was fighting for years with health, and I thought I did everything right. And when you talked about reverse osmosis and the pH, I went down in my basement and I tested it, and you were bloody right. It was 5.0 pH. So no wonder I'm sick, but I didn't know.
Wow.
Okay. Good. So that's point 3 why I despise reverse osmosis. Point number 4, we call it hungry water. The reverse osmosis filter removes basically anything from the water which always includes possible toxins, but also all minerals that our body should have. Now, what happens the moment the water enters the body, it has no minerals. It attracts the minerals in your body like a magnet. That means not only brings no minerals, but what like healthy water does, but it deprives the body of minerals. It typically extracts the minerals even out of your bones. Maybe one of the reasons for osteoporosis, surely from candida. Now, how does it happen that these people sell their products? What these salesmen typically do, they come to your house, they say, give me a bit of your water, tap water.
Yeah.
Then they put some chemicals in tap water and they stir it, and you see there a lot of material floating into the water, in your water, right? And you say, see, this is what you're drinking. And look here, this is reverse osmosis water. Nothing, hardly anything. And you're drinking all this gummy stuff here. They don't tell the people, the majority of what the people see there is no gummy stuff. This is just calcium, for example, which is not unhealthy. If the body gets too much calcium, it just doesn't use it. But that's their dirty trick to get you to sign the dotted line. You don't want to drink that water, right? People say, of course not, of course not. And they buy these systems, which are typically the price range between $4,000 and $6,000. Now, the word has gone around that people know about this mineral thing, that it takes it out. And now comes their, what I call the last dirty trick. They say, well, yeah, you're right. Or they even bring it up before they bring it up as a technique of selling it. You may have heard this, blah, 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 blah. But that's not a problem. You go and take some minerals in a health food store and throw it in the water. It's for me like saying, eat McDonald's and then eat some vitamins and you have good food.
Right.
So the next point, number 5, why I not agree with reverse osmosis system, it possibly creates fungus. Fungus can grow because of reverse osmosis water. There were tests executed in watering plants in a farm with regular water and a separate group of plants watered with reverse osmosis.
Yeah.
Plants watered with reverse osmosis showed by tendency black fungus. When you use reverse osmosis water for spouting seeds, in 7 out of 10 times, they found out there was fungus growing on the plants.
Wow, look at that.
And I mentioned before this book from this German lady, The Water and Beverage Mafia, right? And she writes in that book about reverse osmosis water, another risk source of the risk of bacterial contamination of the membrane, which independent tests repeatedly detect. Bacterial contamination.
Norbert, I just had a thought pop into my head here. Why, I've known about this reverse osmosis thing since the 90s. But I always found the brine tank that they wanted to accompany the under-sink reverse osmosis part to be a little suspect. Do you know why any kind of a brine tank was included? Was that just for softening water using saline, or what's that all about?
Sorry, I never came across this brine tank.
Okay, all right, forget about it. We'll move on. It was weird.
But keep one
I
thing
never
in
did
mind.
get a straight answer about it.
Well, that may be the answer. Keep it in mind. I think I mentioned before, if not, I'll do it now. If you drink pure reverse osmosis water, you would most likely puke.
Yeah.
So bad in taste that you would most likely puke. So they add on, like Dasani says, we add on minerals for taste. They say we add on minerals for taste. They say it. We add on minerals for taste.
Right.
And I believe they used to have an extra taste filter added at the end of the process of reverse osmosis. They added an extra system to improve the taste. So they call it taste filter. Okay.
Well, Norbert, it seems that this reverse osmosis thing became all the rage. I saw a number of different kinds of filters out there, but RO, oh look, RO water, reverse osmosis and all that. I suppose at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like it was much of an improvement over what was coming out of the tap. Is that fair or an unfair thing to say?
Oh, it's absolutely fair to say, and most likely, so what we have nowadays in the city water, I consider the city water um, as less problematic than reverse osmosis water. Remember earlier on, we talked about the test from the Masaru Emoto laboratory when
Yes.
they tested my products, and they took reverse osmosis water. Let me repeat what I said there. They took reverse osmosis water, which shocked me. And they said, no, 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 we take reverse osmosis water because it's the worst water there is. They said it's the worst water there is. And if your product can rehabilitate this quality of bad water, then you have a winner, right? So no, no, no. Here comes now the last part of my reverse osmosis presentation, which is the membranes. You know, the reverse osmosis water system look a bit like this. They have a membrane. This membrane is typically many times not manufactured by the company who does the reverse osmosis water filters system, but by contractors from the pharmaceutical industry. And here's the reason why. In order to filter everything out except the water molecules, these holes in the membrane have to be extremely small. Extremely small. And to my definition, I think you can agree with it when you see this in a moment, it has nothing to do with physical fabricated holes. This is the diagram. You see the human hair. This big round ball there is the human hair, okay? And then you
Yep.
see in the middle, in the center, that small little blue dot in the middle of the center. This is the hole of a membrane, in the membrane. I mean, there are hundreds and thousands of them holes, okay?
Yeah.
Now imagine the diameter of a hair, and then this little hole in the center. And here is the size of this unit. The pore size is 0.1 nanometers, a tenth of a millionth of a millimeter. Make it easier for the American audience. You see the American diameters. A tenth of a millionth of 0.04 inches.
Wow.
Okay? I can't even think in this size. Okay? What does that mean? Well, here's the crux. This pore size, you cannot manufacture with physical elements, right?
Yeah.
There's no needle in this world which is so thin. So how do you get the holes in the membrane? How do you get the holes in the membrane? That's the big question.
Yes, indeed.
Well, for me, the only explanation is through radiation. Radiation frequency can do that. Now, if I'm right, and I repeat, if I am right, they create these holes through radiation frequencies in the membrane. Now I go back to what we discussed earlier. The world is based on frequency and information. If I shoot through material, radioactive material, that frequency of that radiation will be in that material. Can you follow me?
I am.
So all the water, now if that radiation frequency material is in the material, all the water floating now through the holes, learning what we learned about frequency and information, the water, to my opinion, will pick up this frequency. So now you're consuming water with this radiation frequency. Bon appetit.
Wow. Well, it only took 30 years for this information to come out to the public, right?
I don't
30
know.
years.
I had a German, in a German talk show, I talked about this. And I said that all reverse osmosis manufacturer and salespeople should be taken to court by public prosecution for harming the human body by intention. And this German company took me to court, this quick court, their overnight decision. I was in America, which doesn't allow me to say this anymore as a statement. Now I say it as a question. So if I'm right, that could be the course. Okay. Okay. So
Wow.
reverse osmosis water. What do we have? 10, 100,000 times too acidic. We
I
have
can't
these.
believe these numbers. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. That's
No, no,
amazing.
no. Yeah. So we talked about the money system cost $3,000 to $6,000. And here is an image from Dasani water. And you can see, they say, not me, Dasani is purified water with water enhanced with minerals for a pure, fresh taste.
Okay.
They say it.
Right.
You just have to read the label. I'm not inventing that stuff.
No,
I'm
it's
not
there.
inventing that stuff. It's there. Right?
Yep.
Minerals added for taste. Because as I said, if you drink the pure water, you would puke. You cannot drink it. All right. So this is, to my opinion, the problem with reverse osmosis water. I
Yeah.
give you all the reasons I personally have, to my opinion. And I showed you before, if you remember, how the Masaru Emoto lab tested the reverse osmosis water here on the left side and
Unbelievable.
right side after being rehabilitated by my technology. This is the totally destroyed structure of reverse osmosis water, and I rehabilitated it.
Unbelievable. It really is. All of this stuff that we thought, oh, that's nice. And then we see your presentation here, and it's like, no, it's not nice.
Well, John,
Unbelievable to me.
when we were young, they came up with the microwave oven, right? And
Yeah.
we thought,
Oh, yeah.
God, yeah, heat up the coffee in 2 seconds. Baby, I'm working out. Your food is in the microwave. Press start. Okay.
Yeah.
And we thought, how cool is that, right? And it took us quite some decades to know that we were screwed. And in case
Right.
somebody out there using microwave oven still for the food and the water, please stop. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing.
I guess it's just although I must tell you, I thought from the very beginning that the whole microwave oven thing was highly suspect. I never, in fact, I've told the story a few times, so I'll be brief. I put my left hand into an old school Amana radar range that was still at CBS Television Cities 20 years ago. But I opened the door after heating up some disgusting, snack room chili. And even though the thing had been shut off and sat there for a few seconds, I opened the door and sparks started flying off my watch. I reached in with my left hand, sparks started flying off my watch, and I thought, well, I don't think I'll be heating anything else up in here. That just doesn't look good to me.
Yeah. So we're
Oh
coming
man,
towards the end of my presentation, very much to the end. And let me remind you again that typically water has all these particles in the water. And one of them is chloramine. A lot of people don't know what chloramine is. It's chlorinated water plus ammonia. Chlorinated water plus ammonia. There are even warnings issued that chloramine is not safe for fish and other marine animals, but it's safe for human beings, right?
yeah,
Chloramine is very hard to remove from the water much harder than chlorine. But again, the way I take it, if you have water filter systems out there who do the job, right? Go ahead and use them. If they do the job, if you're sure, if they have proved do the job, go ahead and use them. But the road I took is a different one. However, I came only across so far one water filter system in America and one in Germany, which makes sense. Such a system, to put the facts on the table, for an under sink system, only for under sink, is about $2,000. For a complete house system is about $10,000. Okay, and even if you have those systems, you still use my products. And to give you an idea what we're talking about, my blue water thingy is $800. To put a price tag to it, $800, warranted for 10 years, right? And this you should add on, regardless what water filtering system you have, you should add it on, okay? Coming to the end, there is a paragraph, I call it the protection of water, protection of your water. You must protect your water. Yes, you heard me correctly. You remember that we talked about that water, electromagnetic radiation destroys water, right? Here's again the image which we had before. Electromagnetic radiation and microwave oven and so on, and cell phones destroy your water, which means you have to protect your water. And what I have done is I solved this problem with a product line, Smart Defenders 4G, 5G. And if there are other products out there, be my guest. So in other words, you have healthy water, let's assume. You must protect the water from electromagnetic radiation. And I have different offers here. You can see it on the website, and we have different shows with John. These are all the same products that do the same, just they cover different spaces, different areas, and easier applications. So you must protect your water. The second thing is the presence of harmful substances in the water, in the food. And I came up with a solution there. I just want to scratch the surface. It's called ST2 Food Protect. So here we protect the food. We nullify all negative frequencies or harmful substances in food and beverages. And you can find this on my website. Here's the link. And here's the link for the 5G protection. You can study. I have many seminars there, talk shows with John. I just want to scratch the surface.
I know it.
First, get the right water, and then make sure you have your water protected, okay?
Yes. This is stunning. It's really stunning information. Sorry, I couldn't restrain myself, but you know, I've talked at length about many of these things, but this presentation has been quite an eye-opener, to put it really, really mildly.
Well, I tried to put it in a context so you can understand, you have a conceptual understanding of water, you know? So my summary now for you guys is, we're bringing it home. The body is physical, and we live in a world where we deal with physical situations. I always hear this thing about mind over matter. Yeah, okay. My mind is stronger than all these influences. If you have reached that level, God bless you. The majority of us are still working on it, and we may not reach that level for an hour later. Mind over matter. So if it rains outside and you go outside in the rain, your mind tells you, I'm not getting wet, and you're not getting wet. That would be mind over matter. You stay underwater 2, 3, 4 minutes and not die because of lack of oxygen. That would be mind over matter. We're all working on it. If we're spiritual beings, we'll work on it. We have a spiritual awareness, and which is covered up for many of us through whatever life stories and stories of this planet there are, and people who don't want us to realize that we are spiritual beings, because you cannot control spiritual beings. We, by definition, are a spiritual being, I'm believing that I will be born again. And I've seen it many times that I've been born. There are many reasons you can have dementia, Parkinson, cancer, all other illnesses, deficiencies. If we even live as much a spiritual being as we can, these illnesses affect us as a spiritual being, because you cannot free yourself from these troubles to explore your spiritual awareness. We have to defend ourselves against all these odds. The big industry, they will never help us. The government will never do this. We have to make sure we have healthy food, healthy water, free from electromagnetic radiation. This is a fight against all influences. So we have certain functions, and we must support the functions of the body. And the more that we support it, the less we are sick, the more we can work as spiritual beings and act as spiritual beings. Everything else is a distraction. Illness is a distraction. And when I see what's happening in this world, it always, for me, headline is distracting. The technology I offer and the products are supposed to help you to be a freer spiritual being if you take your part in being a spiritual being. All my products are made in Germany, come with a 10-year warranty, are certified by the Visa Institute of Austria, and have for now a free charge upgrade. I will always try to upgrade the products to perform better, because I come across new solutions. When I come across new solutions, I'll put them in my products. It's a never-ending thing. I'm standing at the beginning of something. I'm not at the end, not at the finish line. By far not, I'm not at the finish line. My products, W100, 300, the water products, what do? They rehabilitate water. The bottom line is we're nulling negative information. We rehabilitate the hexagonal structure, so it's fine clustered, what they say. We improve condition of red blood cells. We rehabilitate and reinstore minerals. We stabilize the pH. We do a soft descaling. We improve the redox potential. And again, my landing page, go there, find out, talk to me, ask me questions.
Yes. If you're listening, it's improveyourlife.us. And I suppose it's true. And really,
at the very last stage of my presentation, I want to thank you. I want to thank John and Brandy for giving me the opportunity to meet with you. I want to thank my employees. Without, I would not be able to do what I'm doing. I thank my co-engineers, which in many cases are better than myself. I love it. I love it if I have people who know more than me. It's the only way to learn. And I want to thank now a gentleman which you never heard of, never will, Otto Meyer zu Schwabedisen. Without him, I would never have ended in what I'm doing today, which is not the end, which is the beginning. He was the biggest inspiration when I was very sick and I thought I would die. This is 40 years ago. Interesting story how he and me met, what we did together. I want to thank Royal Raymond Rife, who discovered the fact that even illnesses have frequencies, and the FDA took him out. I want to thank Max Planck, one of the greatest physicists around, German countryman, with whom I wouldn't have what I have today. And of course, Nikola Tesla. These are all people who contributed with their work and their knowledge to help me what I'm doing today, to inspire me and to give me badly needed information. And there's one guy, which is hardly known even in Germany, for me, one of the greatest physicists ever. His name is Burkhard Hein. His life story is a story with no comparison. When I talk about the nullifying of information, most of what I'm doing there, I got out of his work. And Dr. Masaru Emoto, we talked about him today, and you understand where he is, where he comes from. All right.
astounding.
That will be the end of my presentation.
You know, Norbert, I started to say a while ago, when you think about it, it is what we're experiencing right now all across the world is spiritual warfare. And remember, folks, energy, frequency, vibration. How is it that all of these things at the very, very beginning were spoken into existence? Energy, frequency, and vibration. Norbert Heuser, thank you very much. You know, I think we're overdue on this. I really do. You have gloriously illustrated and vindicated the right of the individual to be an individual. And I hereby induct you into our order of the Arc Knights. And this assembly rises to you, Sir Norbert Heuser. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you for the honor. Thank you guys for the platform.
Yeah. Thank you.
Audience, thank you for hanging in that long time.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Consider of his speeches deeply. Do your own research. Do it. If you have access to the internet, you can do it. And stay tuned, because there will be much more to come in the days and weeks and months and hopefully years ahead. But let's keep those three things in mind: energy, frequency, and vibration. Thanks for watching.